I know you've been here for a long time.
Right, moved out here in '63, so I have been here a while, same house, before 271, so that puts it in perspective.
Yeah, that's
so
all.
so I've seen a lot of growth, a lot of changes. My main concern is in the area of communications, transparency, budget, those kinds of things that communicate what is going on within the city. One thing is that quite often with the ordinances that are coming up in each of the council meetings, or there's no way to see that ordinance and see how it reads. It's by title only type thing, and
that's true.
And without it, you coming into City Hall and asking to get a copy of it, which most people aren't going to take the time to do. I would like to see that online. I think I've mentioned this in public comments and meetings before, but I would like to see that online in its completed and also in its ongoing state as it goes through the readings, until it is codified and included in something that's accessible online anyway.
Okay.
That way I think people that are interested can keep up with it. Maybe more people would take a look at it and would have questions.
I agree with that too, and we have the opportunity to do that. We do get the entire agenda and the proposed ordinances the Tuesday before the first council meeting where that is being read, and I think we should be just putting that up online rather than simply sending it to the council members, because there's nothing secret about it. We're simply going to be discussing it, and in some cases we are accelerating and not waiting for 3 readings, so people have no opportunity to really look at this.
Right.
And yes,
I think could also increase the number of people that you reach. For those people who are not online,
yes.
they could use the emails directory that they have for the messenger and send
That's
it
true.
out that way as well. It costs nothing for the city to do this, and it really increases the
Well,
transparency.
I actually, that's probably a second part of this that we could easily do. We do have a once a month newsletter that we sent out, but really the most important things that are going to affect our residents are discussed in ordinances
Yes.
and inside of the council, because that's where we have to agree or not agree to something. And I will say this, we are not taking the opportunity to really explore what we could be doing, and I know you had said earlier something about work sessions, and
Yes.
I'd like you to talk about that a little bit.
Right. I would like to see more productive work sessions. Right now, the work sessions are pretty much just assigning who's going to talk about what, and maybe asking some questions about a specific something that has come up. But I would like to see work sessions be more than just discussing what's going to come up in the council meeting. I'd like it to be a brainstorming session. I would like to see ideas come out from the different council people. And this is the time to just throw it all out there and discuss why something is feasible, why it may not be, how maybe somebody's neighbors feel about it and things like that, and just have a brainstorming session. So I would like to see that.
Well, that's an interesting point too, because people can't brainstorm about things that they don't know about at all, right?
Right.
And one of the problems we're having, or really since the current council president took position back in 2016, is that we have not, in fact, we haven't expanded discussion. We've shrunk it to a very, very small window, and then he wanted to discuss everything on the floor. Well, that is really not effective, because people then find themselves with a lot of questions that have to be discussed on the floor when we're trying to get through a meeting. So I think what we ought to do is, and here's my thought, we would start having a once a month alternate Thursday brainstorming session with council there. And let me take this a bit further. The first hour would be that, and then I think we would open it up, and there's been a lot of changes in technology so that you could even have an online session with residents asking questions directly.
Sure.
And while not everybody could participate, I'll say that, at that kind of level, a lot of people could, and I think we could end up with people asking things or bringing up things that we, as a group, may not even think of. And so I really agree with that. I think there's a lot that needs to be done because, for example, when we did have recommendations from one of our residents with regard to the building height changes for an alternate method to allow for some, but also to be much more controlling of what we did, that was not even discussed. And I asked for a public meeting about it, and I was told, well, we don't have to have a public meeting because these changes do not require it. And I had said at the time, which was the middle of August, I know they don't require it. I'm saying this is important enough that we need to discuss it so that everyone in the city is aware of it. So we went ahead and we basically passed these ordinances that change significantly the heights of buildings, either to 45 feet or 90 feet in some cases, without really a discussion that everybody was aware of and why we were doing it. And I think that needs to change.
Well, that's the kind of thing that I think a more productive brainstorming work session would have brought out to everybody. And I know that there's a lot of concern that council members aren't necessarily all on the same page, and nor do I think they need to be all the time. That's what you want. You want a divergence of ideas, and you want people to talk about things and talk about the pros and cons of this or that, and then you come to an understanding, okay, this will work for us here in Macedonia. And I think that's what comes out of a productive work session. I know I talked to a council person from 20 or 30 years ago, a couple of years ago I talked to him, and he said they used to have every other Thursday as one of these type of brainstorming sessions. And
I agree, and a lot of places do, because that's the way you can work together as a group. And I've heard these discussions about, well, we all need to work together as a team.
That's where you work together as a
That's
team.
where you work together as a team, when you can have a chance to discuss these and to bring out ideas and bring out alternatives instead of, kind of being forced into a 15-minute discussion about, who's going to read this. So I do agree with that, and I think we need to do it, and I certainly would endorse and push anybody to move towards that. But as I say, at least once a month, and an alternate Thursday, we need to do this. I don't have a problem with twice a month, but if once a month, you got to get started somewhere.
You've got to start somewhere, right?
And I think, let me just add something when you're talking about getting people involved in the process, and not just have the small council people involved in the process. People can text in questions that they can get answered, just like you see on all these other programs today.
Yes.
And using social media, people can't attend a council meeting, but they can text from their phone saying, I don't understand what this ordinance means. Can you answer question A, B, C, D? And they can reply by text with an answer. Or that way we get input from the people. In today's environment, they can text, they can quickly email, they can do it through their phone and just verbally send a text. They don't even have to type out a text.
You and I are senior enough that, if we can do it, they can do it.
Yes.
So that just gets the people, the residents, our representatives represent all of us. So in order to try to solicit some opinions, let's make it easier for the residents.
I absolutely
in
agree.
some way, shape, or form.
I'd also